How everybody doing? I wanted to touch on this topic about Juice World and overdosing, the opioid epidemic, and I think it's a fine line that we often straddle because I done heard certain artists point out other artists the music they make and say that contributed, and some Facebook posts, Instagram posts, and they said that that artist contributed or those artists contributed to the demise of somebody who has an opioid or some kind of overdose. And I think that's a fine line to straddle because we can't take the onus away from the person who's actually engaged in whatever he's engaged in. There's nothing that says that you have to do as an artist says or do what they do. As coming up, I was listening to rap music, shoot 'em up, bang bang, stand on the corner all day, sell drugs. Doing hearing what they was living, I was hearing the same thing. Maybe I was living it too. That's why I was gravitating toward it. But it still was my decision to make those choices, whether bad or good. It was conscious rappers out there back then. It's conscious rappers out here now that's saying don't do this, don't do that. But that don't mean that the masses is going to follow everything that somebody says. The same thing is with your parents. You have a personal relationship with your parents or a family member. You have a close personal relationship with them. They can tell you all the keys in life from the mistakes they made for you to move forward and not make the same mistakes. But as humans, we often don't believe it until we go through it ourselves. Some people do, a lot of people don't. Just like the saying, the stove is hot, don't touch it. Well, you still gonna put your hand on it just to see how hot it can get. Sometimes you can jerk it back fast enough, sometimes you might not, and then you got a blister on your hand. But it took that experience for you to learn to not touch the stove when it was hot, regardless of how many times somebody told you not to touch it. So when I hear somebody say Future or Gucci, they contributing to the demise of the black community, I think that's a little harsh to put on somebody they're putting out their art and the people are gravitating to it. Now, are they living everything they're saying? Probably not. But that doesn't mean that they should be held accountable for what the masses are already doing. I find it quite funny that we never hold, like you never hear the rock and roll community tell rock and roll artists to watch their content, don't put it out there because you got little kids following you. Or country music or any other genre of music. Or you don't even hear that about movies. Like I never hear Outcry telling Lionsgate, don't put out those type of movies because kids gonna gravitate to them and then they might do such and such and harm themselves. It's never no outcry from nobody in other genres or movies that way. It's only when it happens in rap. And to me, it gives fuel to the people like the Tommy Laurens, the Ronaldos, and whatever host that's on Fox News that looks down upon rap music. They chastise Jay-Z for talking about what he grew up in his music earlier. Did he make mistakes? He did. A lot of people, when they're young, make a lot of mistakes. But as he got older, look what he's extended to. But they still want to hold him back based on his past. And it seems like we, as a people, always ready to point the finger at somebody else just because they didn't have the attention to know that was right and that was wrong. Everybody has their own choice. Just because you hear it or see it doesn't mean you have to do it. So I think it's giving those people a reason to look down on hip hop when you have this own hip hop community saying that they are contributing to half of what they're doing. And we also must remember that the opioid epidemic has been going on for the longest. Like it ain't just start with Future rapping or Gucci rapping or anybody. Even before there was a Future, there was Pimp C. God rest his soul. He died. It's mainly a cause of mixing different drugs is mainly what happened to most of them, or overdosing. Maybe the combination, but it's plenty. Is a track record of a lot of celebrities who have OD'd. Michael Jackson, another one. Even though the doctor gave it to him, but it was too strong. But who are we gonna pinpoint that on? Are we gonna say that somebody else content caused that? You can't. So I don't think it should be pinpointed to no certain artist and saying that, well, you need to rap conscious, because no matter how much conscious music that's out there, the masses is only going to gravitate to what they gravitate to. You cannot make a group of people want to hear conscious music. I'm a older person now, a little older than what I was, but I don't want to hear conscious rap. I don't want to hear conscious rap every day, all day. I want to hear some shoot 'em up, bang bang. Standing on the corner selling drugs. You know, some bop, some Pop Molly. I'm sweating. Woo! You know, I feel like letting loose sometimes too. So to think that if it's conscious music out there that they're gonna gravitate to it, you're fooling yourself. And we also must remember that the music industry is in the business of making money. That's why they're in business, to make money. They are going to chase whatever the masses are requesting. That's what they're going to want to put out. And now you don't even have to have a record deal. You can put your music out online and the masses still will gravitate to what they are living. Just think about how powerful that Chief Keef video was. Sosa. They was in the living room bouncing. You think they trying to hear some conscious rap, somebody telling them that they need to get their head on right? Ain't nobody trying to hear that bullshit, Sharif. Classic All Boys in the Hood. So try not to put too much on these artists to tell them to be something they're not. I couldn't see Gucci as a conscious rapper. I see Gucci as the Gucci from the start. That's the Gucci I love. I see Jeezy the same way, even though Jeezy has transitioned and he's trying to show you that it's better ways. But I still love that back on the block Jeezy. So I think we need to watch that line of pointing out artists and giving the far right a reason to say hip hop is detrimental to our own community. If you disagree with me, cool. Leave your comments. Give me your feedback, and I'll be sure to respond. I can make a part 2 video. It doesn't even matter. I just think this conversation that is something that needs to be said and need to be had amongst the powers that be. And it just happened to be me who's going to put out the content, and hopefully they pick it up. So y'all, please take it easy. Have a nice day. Check out my website at www.shopthestoop.com. And remember, tomorrow starts a new day.